on the screen. So it's obvious that I'm watching my screen, but otherwise I should look at the camera.
Yeah.
It's very unnatural.
So I think we can go live now. I mean, we can begin. So hi everyone. Before we begin, some practical information which I would like to share. This session will be recorded, and then we would also put a copy of this feed onto our JU web in next couple of days. Secondly, please ask your questions in the Q&A function, not in the chat function. We will answer all of the questions at the end of this webinar. So please feel free whenever you have a question right there, even during the webinar, and we will answer all of the questions at the end. Thank you very much. So again, greetings from the International Office. I'm your host, Jasim, and today we will discuss and dive deep into an extremely important topic for construction industry, which is sustainable building information management. And in fact, it is considered to be the backbone of the construction industry. Digitalization is the single most significant change factor of our age. The built environment sector is the largest sector in most of the countries, and it is a key factor in the process of creating sustainable value, both for the client and for society. Today, we will discuss and talk in detail we would interview our professor, Annika Moscati, who is also the head of the program Sustainable Building Information Management. And during this interview, I will try to dive deep by asking questions around how we create academic excellence and professional excellence, inspire future leaders, and what are the benefits for our potential students and the society at large. So let's welcome Dr. Annika Moscati. Thank you, Annika, for taking time out and appear for this interview, as this will be extremely helpful for our potential students. Please, the floor is yours.
Hi. Thank you to you for having me.
And so could you please share a bit about yourself, who you are, and what inspired you to become a professor and choose this field of education?
Oh, what a question. I have a background in architecture. I graduated in architecture in 2007, and then I started my PhD just 1 year after, and I defended my thesis in 2012. I have a PhD from La Sapienza in Rome. I'm Italian, as you might hear from my accent. And I did part of my research in a CNRS lab in Marseille, France. Why? Because I'm curious, probably. Then the main reason might be that I'm curious, and I love architecture, and because it's a very multidisciplinary and comprehensive topic. You have to take many things into consideration, from history to human needs to technology and physics. So it's a very complex and comprehensive topic, and I'm a curious person. Probably that's the reason why.
How long have you been into this field? I mean, teaching this especially.
I started teaching just the year after I graduated from my master. So I started teaching in 2008, but I have had also practical experiences. I've been working in architecture offices in Italy and here in Sweden. When I moved to Sweden, I wanted to start with a practical experience first. And then I went back to the academia in 2015 now, when I became a senior lecturer, assistant professor at the Department of Construction Engineering and Light and Science at the School of Engineering, Jönköping University.
Could you please tell us a bit about the School of Engineering and what makes it unique, and tell us about the program you're responsible for,
Yeah. What makes unique the School of Engineering? I would say the environment. It's a very friendly environment. We have a great focus on gender equality, internationalization. We have international masters. We have bachelor open to international students as well. I think that, yeah, the friendly environment makes the school unique, but also the quality of our teaching and research. I can say that that's also a very high point at our school. And the master I'm director for is, as you said, Sustainable Building Information Management, and it's a quite new master degree. We started in 2017, and we have so far 2 groups of graduated students. The third one is working right now on their final thesis, and yeah, and the master is called Building Information Management, so BIM, but in the meaning of management and not modeling, because the focus is on the management of the information embedded in the 3D models. We have bachelor programs at our school, at our department, that focus more on the modeling phase, and then the master is the next step with the management of the digital information.
This was actually my follow-up question as well, that what is SBIM and what real problems are we trying to solve with this? Because when I read different topics on web, different places, I see that BIM is considered by many architects as to be the backbone of the construction industry in this era. So I'm just quite curious about to see what is SBIM, and if we have to educate our audience, so how can we explain this?
Oh, BIM has very many different meanings. If you search online, you read scientific papers, you have different meaning. In our master, we focus, as I said, on the management of the information embedded in the 3D models, and because we believe that the digital information flow has a very high impact on how we work on the construction sector workflow in all its stages. So from the very beginning, from the planning to the refurbishment to the demolition phases, or the facility management phase. So we consider the whole chain in the construction sector, and we focus on as I said, on the information. Yeah, so what we want to solve, probably what the main goal would be to restructure, to have an impact on how the construction sector works, and to have it more digitalized, which is claimed to be one of the problems in our sector. We claim that the construction sector is one of the less digitalized sector still.
Because when you, as you said, you can find a lot of information on the web, but it's about the BIM, not SBIM. So what is the sustainability we're doing in our teaching of SBIM here?
We know that buildings have a very high impact on the environment, from how you build, the materials you use, from where the materials come to during their use. So the energy consumption of buildings, everything has a very high impact on the environment. And sustainability means that we can have a very high impact on how the buildings are planned, built, and used, using the digital information. And what we can do with this digital information are, for example, running simulations for energy consumption, daylight analysis. So run simulations to see how our buildings will work once they are built. But we also consider sustainability in whole its aspects. So the economic sustainability, the environmental sustainability, and the human well-being, which is another very important aspect of sustainability.
Interesting, very interesting. So how closely is this program designed with industry, and what is the balance of research and application?
The program starts from discussions with the industry, and we created, just 1 year after the program was born, we created an external advisory team where we have representatives from industry, both private companies and public agencies, and involved in the sector in different stages, in different part of the chain. And we have meetings once a year with them to discuss the program and the outcome and possible changes, improvements. So it's very much related to the industrial needs, and we have continuous discussions with external world, how it's defined sometimes. And the balance between research and application, it's also we also try to implement our research's results in our courses. I do research myself. Most of the teachers involved in the master do research. They have their own research projects. We invite lecturers from other universities, other countries that run relevant research for what we do. We invite our students to join our research projects with their final thesis. I'm supervising right now three final theses. 2 of them are connected to 2 of my research projects, or 2 research projects I'm involved in, and one, for example, one group is working on a final thesis that started from an idea, a company idea, an idea from an architecture office that suggested a topic. So we have PhD students working, helping in our courses, and they also bring in their knowledge and the results of their research or the research process they are in. So there is a strong connection with our research. Absolutely.
Excellent. One of the very common questions I get from a lot of potential students is, are there any internships or real projects they can work on? Like when they say real projects, is they're usually referring it to the industrial projects.
Yes, this is something also unique for the School of Engineering. If we want to go back to your first question, we have a course called Industrial Placement course. We have the same for the bachelor and for the master. In our master, we ask the students to be at least 5 weeks in a company. The company can be placed everywhere. It can be in Sweden or everywhere in the world. We have had students, both Swedish and international students, doing the industrial placement course at companies in Sweden, or some international students, for example, take benefit of the summer break to go back to their countries and then conduct the industrial placement course there. Or those who wish, or those who have an academic inclination can do the industrial placement course at the department instead, and collaborating with our ongoing research projects. Yes, there are possibilities to work for real.
Is it safe to say that if you collaborate on these kind of projects, and if you really show your potential and your hard work, you could also end up getting work placements from these companies, or you might have helped.
Yes, you can. You can. We have several examples of former students that have been employed at the companies where they did industrial placement course. A challenge with the industrial placement course is that students must find a place themselves. We might get some requests from companies and that we can share with the students, but it's a requirement that they find a place on their own. It's part of the learning process also, how to apply for an internship, or how to prepare a CV or a letter, a presentation letter to send to companies. It's part of the learning process. But we have several examples of students who then found job in the company where they did the industrial placement course. Yes, I'm
sure our listeners would be extremely happy with this information. So
yeah, of course, if you show if companies are very interested in our topic, and we believe that we provide the students with good knowledge within the field and relevant background, and for those who engage themselves and who show to be good students and good employees in the industrial placement course, it's not that difficult.
Mm-hmm. I know that you mentioned about the simulations. So this was also one of the questions I had, but you explained about some energy consumption simulations. Could you, say a little bit more about that, and how much simulations are designed? Are they designed into every course we are teaching, or is part of certain kind of courses? So how are these designed?
We have two courses in particular where the students learn how to run simulations, and one is one of the two first courses the students take when they start the program, and where they use tools and software to use parameters inbuilt in the 3D models to run energy simulations and daylight simulations, LCA, life cycle assessment, or LCC, life cost, cycle cost, and other simulations relevant for assessment system. You might know that buildings, in some countries it's a requirement for all buildings, in other countries maybe for big or for public buildings, but I think that Sweden will have soon a law that requires assessment for all the buildings that will be built. And yeah, so they need to know how to use parameters to run these very important simulations.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I think these are the most common simulations we run.
This is very interesting, because I know that from different news I read, I see Sweden to be a quite sustainable country, especially in the building environment. I know that cities like Gothenburg and even Stockholm, they're considered quite green cities with the energy consumption and everything. So I'm pretty sure that there is so much to gain once students come to take this education, because they can learn so much, not just from the education setting, but also from the around the societal setting.
Indeed, absolutely. Yeah, Sweden is one of the greatest country, I think, in this respect. They are doing a very good work.
And my follow-up question would be, I hear a lot of exciting things about field visits, students encouraged to attend conferences, seminars, workshops, which might be organized in cooperation with student bodies, student associations, and not to forget Science Park. So how do you think they help, do you have any examples around this?
The examples I have are those from our education. We also organize workshops and seminars. Almost all the courses have seminars where we have guests or guest lecturer or guest researchers and talking about research and involving students with questions. I think that and then, as you said, other departments at school organize workshops, and students are invited to join them, because I think it's very important for them to get knowing other students, for example, for their connection, especially for the international students who might come alone from other countries. It's a very good opportunities to meet other students and other people, and they enable the interaction with society and other researchers. So I would absolutely recommend our students to attend seminars, not only organized by us in our courses, but also, as you said, the Science Park and other. Yes.
So coming back to our teaching pedagogy, how do we inspire students to achieve the best results and gain upper hand from competitors? I know that we have answered a bit about Sweden being a great country for coming down for this education, and also, the simulations we have. And so are there any other ways we inspire our students by, do we incentivize if they perform well? Do we recommend them to different, companies or yeah?
Yes, we do. We have done for good students. We have absolutely recommended. We have tried to help them. I've written recommendation letters for graduate students to enter PhD programs or for companies. I've always been available as a reference for those who needed the reference when entering the market. So yes, absolutely.
Great. And we have a great community of alumni who have achieved high goals and set great examples for JU. Do you have any exciting examples? I know that we were thinking of, asking some of the alumni to join in today, but as you mentioned that they have exams coming in, so perhaps they could not join in. But maybe could you say a few words about, how our new students can tap into and connect with the alumni of this program, especially?
So we have very good examples. We have two former students as employed as PhD students at our department, and the connection with them will be very easy because the two PhD students are involved in some of the courses, so they will be able to talk directly with them. About PhD students, we have another former master student who started the PhD in UK, and we have alumni employed in relevant companies in the sector, big or medium-sized companies in Sweden and abroad, and we invite them as guest lecturer to talk to our students about their experience. I invited one just last week to talk to my bachelor and master students about her experience as a BIM manager in a big consulting company, and I have contact with them through my LinkedIn, and I also invite my students to join my LinkedIn group so that they can also find, maybe they can get help from my network when they are working on their final thesis or when they are searching for a job. And of course they can connect also there with the alumni. But I try to keep track of my alumni because they end up to be good contacts for teaching. And
Great. So thank you very much, Annika. This was pretty much it. So I could wrap up, but I don't know if you want to say any last words before we wrap up, because now we would open this webinar, for the students to ask their questions. And if you want to say last words, otherwise we can go straight to the questions.
I can just thank you and for the opportunity, and I want to thank you all those who are connected now, and I'm very happy that there are so many candidates also this year. I'm running the interviews, for example, for the master, and we have I'm running more interviews than the last years, and so I'm happy for that, and yeah, I will be happy to answer the questions.
Wonderful. I see that a lot of people have written in chat. Kindly try to write your questions in the Q&A function. If you can, I would be obliged. So I can read the Q&A session. So yeah, no, I think people are, I think I'll have to go to chat. Let's go to chat. So let's see. There is a possibility to apply for 2 programs, first and second choice. Does it mean if I apply for the first one and there is a place, you will not get a second? I would say, Camila, please write this question to us on study@ju.se. I can give an answer, study@ju.se, because this question is more related to the practicality of the admission process. So we can send you an answer or ask admissions to help you with this.
Are you reading the other questions, or
no? I don't think so. Are there
okay.
any? Let's see. Or 2 offers will be sent. No, I don't see any other questions yet. We can. Thank you for. So Yusuf is saying, thank you for this great presentation. I would like to ask if some courses can be equivalent from previous studies.
We can look at previous studies courses, and it has happened that somebody did follow other master degrees, maybe 1-year master, and then they had courses in research methods or other kind of courses that can be accepted, so accredited, I think it's the correct word. And yeah, it might apply for those more generic courses. The specific courses we give are quite unique. Mm-hmm. So, but math courses or courses about research methods, these kind of courses that are more common have been already accredited.
I can also add to what you said. The process we have at JU is that you need to make an application and become a student before you can ask to do this. So once you're here, you need to bring in all the details of the courses you have studied, with the course curriculum and everything. And then the academic registrar officer is going to look in and speak with Annika or anyone who is responsible. So if you have studied what is being taught here, so you would hopefully get your exemption. So so Chaya is asking any particular percentage criteria for these programs, for this program. So he's asking about, is there any, do we look into percentages of what people have, what kind of GPA or what kind of grades do they have in their bachelor education?
This is also a question for the admission office, I would say. Yeah. I think we have ranking for at least the Swedish applicants, because we have 3 different ways to enter. I think there are two application ways for the international students and 1 for the Swedish students, and but I don't really know how they make
Yeah, I think I can ask Chaya to also send us an email, and perhaps you can send in your transcript or something, because we can check with admissions and hopefully give an answer. What's the maximum age limit? So there is no age limit. You can come for this education anytime. So just feel free to make an application if you're into sustainable building information management. Feel free, and you're most welcome to make an application. And then the last question is, I'm wondering about the program size. Yes, the program size. How many students do you normally admit? Is it a big program? Will I get lost in the crowd?
No, we admit up to 25 students. So far, we have at between 20 and 25 is the number. We want to have one group in a computer room. Let's say at the School of Engineering, we have computer rooms that have a maximum capacity of 28 seats, and usually this is what we prefer to have. Because it's because we don't want students to be lost in a crowd. We want to be able to follow them and to help them, and it's easier if the group is not that big. So the number is usually 25. We might go up to 28, but this is the number is decided by the Dean of Education. We usually give recommendational wishes.
But I know that JU students are pretty closely connected with their professors and mentors, and so it's a very, because we are not a very big university, and so this is quite good for each student to get this kind of a personal attention as well. So yeah.
Yes.
And then he's also.
I know my students by name.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. The same person is asking, if I advance to the interview stage, what are you looking for in a student? How should I best prepare?
That's a good question, because running the interviews, what I have seen is that sometimes the candidates don't have a very good idea about what BIM is, and the master is about BIM, and it's at the master level, so we take for granted that the candidates have the basics of what BIM is, and even better if they know also, if they have basics about some software. But software can be learned, but you should show interest in the topic and basic knowledge in the topic during the interviews. So if I ask what is BIM, or what is BIM for you, or how do you think we can enhance BIM, or I would like to hear an answer.
Mm-hmm. And we have another question coming in. What's the scope for practical exposure during the course post-pandemic? Practical exposure.
Once more, sorry.
What's the scope?
Once more.
Yeah, what's the scope for practical exposure during the course post-pandemic? Practical exposure. So I think he might be worried about that if it's pandemic and things are closed, so would he still get some practical, trainings, and would he still be, be able to do all of that?
So how we are going to run the education in the autumn is not clear yet, because it depends on a lot of things, unfortunately, and we have been living in this uncertainty for 1 year now. So we the group of master students is never so big. As I said, we have maximum of 25 students, so we have been able to keep distance in the labs. I have had my master students in labs until last week, But it's very difficult to answer. This year we have had lectures online and labs in computer rooms for the students who need it, and I have had supervisions online for students who couldn't come or were in risk groups, or but in the autumn we really hope that we go back to normal if the vaccination campaign continues. I really don't know. That's very difficult.
Yeah, exactly.
But we have a team at JU level working on keeping track of the changes and informing students and the staff about how to conduct education, and giving recommendations. So we will follow the recommendation we will receive in the autumn.
And there is another question about what are the most challenging aspects of the program? Is it easy to fall behind? How do you support students?
This is also a good question, and I'm happy for this question, because we, as we said, we don't have many students, and we have the possibility to help and follow the students who attend mainly, and who are engaged. Following behind can happen. And happen to those students who needed to work. So we have, it depends a lot on the student's background. Somebody might have a background that allows them to follow the courses quite easily, if they have a lot of experience with software or with the things that we take for granted. Others need, of course, to catch up, and the beginning might be a little bit more difficult. There are students who never worked with BIM software, for example, and we start quite hardcore. So, as I said, we take some things for granted, but those who are engaged and who work seriously have the help they need to catch up and continue with the program. I have seen students who try to work while studying full-time. It is a full-time program, and working at the same time, if you don't have a strong background, it's very difficult. And that's when I've seen students dropping the program, unfortunately. It's a full-time education, and especially the beginning, and it might be even harder. It probably is. I'm not Swedish myself. I've been living in 2 countries before. I've been living in 2 countries that are not my home country, and I can say that starting in a new country, it's always a little bit challenging. It's wonderful. It's a great experience, but it's challenging because you have another culture. We run everything in English, but you end up with things in a language that you're not familiar with. So then we might teach things that students have never studied before. So my recommendation would be, if you get to start the master, start think about taking the education full time, and you will get the help you need. That's focus. Be focused on the program.
Yeah, and in fact, we have a follow-up question as well. That does any of the courses need any Swedish language skills, or is it offered all in English? So yes, it's offered all in English, so you don't need any Swedish language skills.
No, exactly. It might happen that there is a document that can be very interesting for the students, that is in Swedish, but we provide translation, and so it's the program is in English, and we run everything in English.
Great. Thank you so much, Annika. So it was really a pleasure talking to you. And thank you for your time. And thank you, students, for showing up for this webinar. And if you have any friends who are interested in this program, please let them know that this will be put up on our web later on. Yeah, just tune into onto our web and see other online events we are doing. And if you're interested, please sign up for them. Thank you very much, and all the best, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, Annika. Take care.
Bye. Bye.